The Archuleta School District held a drive-in style graduation ceremony for this year's senior graduating class of 75 students at Pagosa Springs High School. Spirits were high among students and teachers despite restrictions brought on by the pandemic and a rainy ceremony. We asked Sean O'Donnell, principal of Pagosa Springs High School, how this year's ceremony was different than other years and what that meant to him and the students.
Yeah, one thing I would say about this graduation, when we took the couple days to actually film the graduates turning their tassels and getting their diploma covers, that was unique in that we got to spend time, I personally got to spend time with each graduate and 4 or 5 family members that I would never get to do in a regular graduation. So that was unique and something I'll cherish. But I so wished for these kids that they could have had the graduation they were looking forward to.
It was a tough end of the year for all students when most schools nationwide turned to distance learning and all social events were canceled. Several students at Pagosa Springs High School shared what was the most difficult part of the pandemic for them.
I think the hardest part about it all was it took me a while to kind of grasp the idea that I had sat down with my friends at lunch for the last time, or took a walk around the high school for the last time, or even sat bored out of my mind in one of my classes for the last time. Because you don't think that the last time is going to come until you plan it,
The hardest part has been the fact that there's been all this work previously in the year, but not really much, it doesn't seem like as much payoff. Like for example, this whole past year, starting in the middle of 2019, I was working on my Eagle Scout project. I was trying to get Boy Scout things done. I was trying to apply to colleges. I was trying to get scholarships. And the one thing that kept me going through all of that was, by the time spring comes around, I'm gonna have my Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It sucks, but there's nothing we can really do about it at this point. All we can really do is grow and learn from it and try to become stronger as people.
With 23.1 million people unemployed in May 2020, a rate that is at the highest level since the Great Depression, high school graduates and college students are facing a lot of economic uncertainty. Principal O'Donnell felt optimistic about this year's graduating students.
So this ceremony obviously is not, not turning out the way they want, but it doesn't diminish at all what they've accomplished, what they've earned, the work that they've put in. It's not going to diminish or minimize any of their opportunities to be successful in their future. It may take a little while in the next year or two to get started based on, how soon you can get back to school again and things like that. But this is not going to stop a single one of them. They're all going to go off and do amazing things.
The students we interviewed also seemed excited about their future and even shared some life lessons they had learned during the pandemic.
Personally, I think I'm excited about my own future, but the one thing that's been occupying my mind through this whole situation is how is this an example of how we're going to react to crises in the future? Because once you think about it, my generation has climate change to deal with. We have potential other pandemics. We have all of these really big problems that are just right over on the horizon.
I am excited about the future. I think this whole pandemic thing has kind of made everybody realize a lot of the things that we took for granted, like, going to get coffee with our friends or getting to hang out at the park or anything else. It's opened our eyes a lot more. So I think when we all come out of this, we're going to have a little more value for life and a little more value for our education. And I think now we have a better idea of exactly what our teachers go through and exactly how much they deserve, because really they tried so hard for us. And I know that it was lonely and rough, but they pulled through, and we all did too. And it was cool.
The students also had a message for next year's incoming class.
My hope for next year's students is that, like I said, they take into account a little more about the things that they do take for granted. And I hope that next year, they have the traditional ceremony that they dream about. But I also hope that they just learn, or they know that they have a lot of blessings in their life, and there's a lot of things to be grateful for.
My hope for next year's students is that this isn't really a problem anymore by the time it's time for them to enter their senior year and especially to graduate. I hope that's all I really can hope, is that they just they get to have that normal senior year.
The drive-in ceremony at Pagosa Springs High School ended with rain, but with high hopes for these young people's future. Congratulations to the Pagosa Springs High School class of 2020. Thanks for watching this edition of Pagosa Local News.